All right, guys, welcome to another video. I'm using my iPhone to vlog this one because my cameras are currently on stage. So we have Surrender to Eden here. We just sound checked here at the Sherman Theater in Stroudsburg, PA. Here is the console, Wayne Compact we're using tonight. And when the doors open in about, I'd say 10 minutes, I'm gonna be responsible for playing house music. So let's go over the basics real quick. So I'll load it onto the screen so you can see my kick, at least my EQs. So here's my kick drum. We have two kicks that we're working with. Kick left is tuned a little bit differently, so I just compensated for that. Here's my snare EQ, hi-hat, octavons, tom 1, 2, 3, 4, and overheads using the Pultec simulator there. Bass, guitar, keyboards, and then 1, 2, 3 vocal. Everything is bussed out. Drum reverb, guitar reverb, vocal delay, drum punch, and then my instrument buses, and then a bus that sends the talk back to the band. And again, MacBook Pro, playing house music. This is the new big tamale piece of kit that I have. This is a Sigma 60 to 200. That is getting in front of house camera. And you can take a look at the picture there that we're getting. This is going to record front of house. My like-minded creators partner, Zaki Ali, is right down there. We are using his Fujifilm camera to get additional camera angles. You can almost see it right there. It's on the tripod. And yeah, I want to thank Zach for helping out tremendously. So this is going to get a stage wide cam right here. Most likely, like, zoomed in a little, he's going to get this angle here. I want to give you guys a quick stage tour before open doors and I play music and I get copyright tagged. All right, so here is Symphony X's drum set. I'm not going to touch it, obviously, but we got some beauties underneath there. They're going to fucking kill. Here's Symphony X's keyboard system. And then here's my singer John's gig performer setup for his vocal. This is just to his monitor. I get a dry signal thanks to this splitter right here. Here's their in-ear rack. And all these receivers are going to the band. The snakes get put out back here into my stage box right here. And then the outs are output 1 is the talkback. Outputs 3, 4, 5, and 6 are house left, house right, subs, front fill, respectively. Here is Johnny's mixing station setup for his monitor and gig performer for his keyboards. Here is his keyboard rig, and of course, vocal mic. Here's one of my cameras. It's a Action 4 DJI. That's going to be focused on Johnny on the keyboards. Here is the second band's drum set. We don't need to worry about that. Here is Russ's drum set. So we have two functional kicks, Audix D6 in that. We're using Sennheiser 604s on all the toms. And the snare drum, we have an Octobon mic there, and 1, 2, 3, 4 toms, and then I have my trusty Lewitt 140 Airs as overheads. Make sure that's tightened up. We do not use the monitors in any way, shape, or form. Everything is set up via in-ears, and Zaki right there just making sure that the overheads are perfectly separated, which they looked like and sounded like. So thank you to Zach for helping out, loan his camera, coming in, helping out the band set up. And also, we're here to see Symphony X as well, because that's going to be amazing. And then here is my main POV camera. This is currently going to be used to get a drum overhead camera that you guys are going to see later on in this video. So that is essentially the setup on stage. Here's Ron's pedal board, which is going all the way back here, I believe, into his setup here. Here's his MacBook that he uses Gig Performer on. His interface here, everything's DI with these guys. The only live instrument on stage is the drums, but all my guys take very good care of their tones. And we just did sound check and it sounded awesome out there. Here is Mike's bass rig. Again, very like stupid simple setup. Most of these inputs here are going to this sub snake, which is then routed to the in-ears. And we're pretty much all set to go, guys. Doors are in about 5 minutes, so let's cut to the show. All right, guys, we're all done here, at least with the loadout. What is it? Thank You Scientist, their name is? Yeah, they're on right now. They're about to be done. We're having some herbal influences right now. And then we're going to really enjoy Symphony X later. As soon as Thank You Scientist is over, we're going to finish loading up the trucks. We're all packed up. We just need to load out. So that's what we're going to do then. But for now, we're enjoying a smoke, and I don't want to film the people behind me. So here's a very nice look at an alley, which not for nothing. The photographer in me is going like, if I could have a model right there, there's a perfect little key light. So, oh shit, they haven't played.
No, they just hit the last one.
No, that was their last song?
I don't know. No, I still hear that.
Okay. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, we're going to finish this very nice weed, and we're going to load up the car. All right, guys. We're all loaded out. So is Thanks for Scientist. Now we just got to wait for Symphony X to go on. I got to say, this crowd tonight was amazing for my guys. This is the biggest crowd I've ever seen Surrender to Eden play for. So I couldn't be more proud of my guys. So we're gonna enjoy some Symphony X.
in heaven right now.
All right, everyone. So here we are in Logic Pro, and normally I have a camera superimposed right here so you can see my face, but I look like shit right now, and I just don't have a camera, so deal with it. Here is the final result. Here's the final mix of the set. This is all done. It was sent to the band, and the band have since published videos on their YouTube channel. So this is the mix that they got. Here are the multi-tracks. We have 2 functional kick drums, which I bust out into 1 kick track. But because the 2 kick drums were inconsistent with the tuning and their sound, I just replaced the kick entirely. We have snare, octobans, 4 toms, a hi-hat, and 2 overheads. Bass is DI, of course. We have Ron's guitar, which is a stereo DI, keys, stereo DI, and then we have John's lead vocal, which I get a completely dry signal separate from their in-ear monitors. I have a delay and a reverb effect on there. I have Mike's vocal and Johnny's vocal, and my cat is playing with his toy in the background, so if you hear squeaking, that's him. And then we have 1 room mic, where I just have a basic EQ on it, and this basically is just blended with the rest of the mix to give it a little more roomy sound. I have a couple of processing effects on the buses, and here's my mastering chain. I have a SSL native bus comp, SPL Vitalizer, which is like literally a low-key, like amazing thing I use. I love this thing. It brings a lot of the high end out. Capital mastering comp, and then I finish it up in Ozone 11. No, I don't want to share a isotope. I don't want you to know what I'm using it for. So I have equalizer, low end focus, clarity, imager, stabilizer, impact, and maximizer. So if you want to, I'm just glossing through this because I have an entire live stream. It's in the description. If you want to see me mix the whole thing over in real time, yeah, just watch the live stream. I go over what mics I used. I go over everything, and you see me mix this in real time. So don't post comments on this video going like, well, what did you use here? Why did you use this? Just watch the live stream. I answer all those questions. All right. So, but I will show 1 signal chain here, and that is the snare drum. I am extremely happy with this snare drum sound. A lot of people actually commented in the live stream and since then about the snare drum sound. So I will go over that with you guys right now. So this is just a sample of my mixing process. Again, just watch the live stream. I go through everything. I answer every question that you may or may not have. And I share all my mixing tips on the live stream. So again, just watch it. So I start off with a live recording. I put everything through auto align. And what this does is it basically aligns everything for you. It checks phase. It corrects the phase. It moves the waveform by samples. So everything just sounds perfect together. So it's witchcraft. It's amazing. I'm not endorsed by Sound Radix. I bought all these plugins with my own money. So, but I'm just saying, if you record any live instruments and you have multiple microphones on the same source, just get auto align. It's amazing. So once I have everything auto aligned, here is the process in order of effects I have on the snare drum. So I have the silencer, which is the best noise gate I've ever used for drums. Then I put everything through the UAD Neve 1073 preamp. Then I use the SSL 4KE from SSL. Then I have a Pro Q3 to take out just a little bit of 522. Just sounded a little boxy there, and I just wanted to get a little bit of it out. Then I have sort of my secret weapon as far as how I get my punchy snares. I have the virtual mix rack from Slate, transient sharpener, shaper. Sorry, I should say that. It's in case you couldn't tell, it's 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this, so bear with me if I misspeak something. I'm tired. So I have the transient shaper and the FG bomber, and that just makes the snare drum fatter sounding than my ass. So from there, my main snare compressor is the UAD API 2500 bus comp. I put a bus comp on the snare drum. It sounds amazing. And if anyone wants to comment or ask why, it just sounds good. There are no rules to this. If it sounds good, then it's the correct thing to do. Then finally, I finish it off with the SSL gated reverb. This just makes the snare drum basically sound more full, and it sounds like it has like the attack. It just sounds like it's extended. So instead of a snare drum going ping, it sounds ping. All right, that probably sounded like shit, what I just did, but whatever. Then everything gets bussed off to a reverb and a drum bus. So I will play that in reference. I'm only going to solo the snare, but again, mix everything. I don't need to tell you this, but I feel like I need to because people don't listen. Mix everything in reference with the whole mix. Don't just mix by soloing something. It's going to sound like shit, and your mix is going to sound amateur. So I'm just going to play the beginning of the song here that we're going to use as to show you guys. It's called The Arrival. And I'm going to play the snare drum completely raw, and then I will turn everything on one by one. So you'll see that it's on when I click the power button, and you'll see the plugin light up on the channel strip right here. So you're going to hear everything raw, and then you're going to hear everything with the processing on. So this is just my snare drum. Okay, so that is the snare drum itself. Let's close everything. And then the snare drum, along with the toms, are bussed to this aux track here, which has the capital chambers from UAD and a simple EQ where I have a very aggressive high pass, low pass, and taking out a little bit of mud there. So this is what the snare drum sounds like with the reverb on. Okay, and then here are the whole drums with my side chain compression of the 1176. again, if you want to know more about my mixing process on this, just watch the live stream. You see me go from completely raw to completely finished in one go. It's around 4.5 hours long, I think. Yeah, and you see what I do with everything. So just watch the live stream. This is just a taste of what I do. And again, the link to this live stream is in the description. Next, let's go to video. All right, guys, I'm going to go over a very simple and very elementary video editing tutorial right here of how I do multicam editing for band shoots at shows. For two reasons why this is going to be a very quick section right here. One, anytime I do a video and I talk about video editing, you guys dip out faster than a deadbeat dad going for cigarettes and never coming home. And two, this is an audio channel, not a video editing channel. And I'm sure there are video guys out there who can explain video editing way better than I could. So the software I use is Final Cut Pro. This is what I use to edit all my videos. And whether you use Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Sony Vegas even, or if you are a Final Cut user, whatever video editing software you use, you can color grade in it, and you can install a couple third-party plugins to help make your editing that much better. All right, so first things first, I unload all my footage and I organize them into folders. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras for this shoot, and I organized everything by camera. So my main camera is an A7R5 Sony, and the lens I used is a Sigma 60-600. No, it is not cheap. It's a very expensive lens and an even more expensive camera body. But this camera body and this lens will basically give me any focal length that I need for no matter how big or small the venue is. This lens will basically do everything I need it to. Next is the DJI Action 4. This was used mainly on Johnny the keyboard player. The DJI Action 5, this was used behind Russ the drummer. The Fuji, I honestly don't know what camera body this is because this was my good buddy Zaki Ali. He brought his Fuji to get a stage wide shot. So I honestly don't know what camera body it is, but here's the clip right here from his Fuji. And then the Osmo, this is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is my main gimbal cam. And again, credit to Zaki. He basically held the gimbal and got all the gimbal shots while I was at front of house. So Zaki was pretty much an MVP with this and helped me out greatly with this shoot. It's tough for me to do video and front of house at the same time. So Zaki came in very clutch with this. Unlike the Green Bay Packers in January. So what I do is I import all the footage, and here's the A7R5, here's the raw footage. So so the reason why this clip looks like shit right now and it looks like it's gray is because I shoot in what's called log format. Basically, I take the raw image from the camera in as raw of a quality as possible so that I can do essentially whatever I want in post. So, and I do that with all the cameras. So here's the Action 4, and as you can see, it's incredibly noisy, and that's because I turn off the camera's noise reduction feature. And here's the Action 5. Let's go to an area where it's not completely blue and it looks like garbage, and we're not in the Smurfs. So the Action 5 is considerably better than the Action 4 in low light. So that's why I have it pointed behind Russ the drummer. Here's the gimbal shots, and as you can see, the footage looks pretty clean. There's not a lot of noise at all because it's a great camera. If you want a nice gimbal camera for cheap, get the Pocket 3. It's magnificent. And here's Zaki's Fuji camera, and it looks very different than my Sony and DJI cameras. So blending different camera bodies and different, video codecs shot by different camera bodies is difficult in post. And I'll even admit right now, like, you can tell if you were to say like which one's the Fuji camera or which one looks different than any other camera on the final video, the Fuji looks different, but it still looks good and it fits the purpose. So I don't really care. So I'll use this because this is a well-lit shot right here. and you can even see there's a little bit of noise here. That's just because the A7R5 is a 60 megapixel camera, and it's not very good in low light. This is before I bought my A7 IV, which is much better in low light, but I digress. The A7R5 is fantastic if you're in well-lit areas, but unfortunately, shooting concert footage, you really are at the mercy of how good the lighting is in a venue. And Sherman Theater is really good. It's just the A7R5 is crippled by its 60-plus megapixel sensor. There's just a lot of noise in there if you crank up the ISO. But anyway, every camera manufacturer has a LUT, and without getting so complicated here that you guys may be confused, a LUT basically is a preset. It's a conversion, like it's a glorified preset. So a LUT gives it it's called a lookup table, and basically in the most layman's term possible, it's a preset. So when you look at, let's load up my RGB and take a look at, this is what the red, green, and blue waveform looks like for this image. Let's switch it to not the vector scope, not the histogram wave. So let's look at Luma. So this is basically the exposure of the whole image, right? So log will compress basically the highs and the lows, give it a very, very flat profile. Now, I did not expose this correctly. This should be roughly, the gist of all this should be roughly right here. But if I crank the ISO too much, it would just be grainy, noisy, and it would be pretty much unusable. So I had to take that into consideration. So let's go RGB Parade, go back to that. Actually, let's get rid of that. So here's what I do. I downloaded a LUT from Sony, and I use the S-Log3, which is what the log format is, and I use the Gamut 3 Cine setting on my camera. And all I do is I apply it, and then look, it's now in Rec 709, which is basically default color that you and I see in video. So real quick, what a difference this makes. This is the raw image from the camera, and this is now with the lookup table LUT to convert it to Rec 709 color. This puts saturation on it to make it more colorful, and it sets up the contrast to move the highs and the lows to have a more balanced image. And each of my cameras has that. So I shot in log when all the cameras. Let's go to a better, like, oh, I just had it right there. Okay. This is the DJI Action 4. And I have a LUT from DJI. So DJI Action 4, D-Log-M to Rec 709. This is what I used. And then there you go. That's been converted. This is the DJI Action 5. So guess what we're going to use? Action 5. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. Let's go to, okay, this is a decent point to start. This is in log format as well. So DJI has one D-Log. This is from Final Cut. I use this on my drone footage, but DJI has one specifically for the Mavic 3, which is my drone of choice, but they also have Osmo Pocket 3. So there you go. That's mainly what it looked like inside the venue. So I set all this up. I put my Rec 709 conversion LUTs on the footage, and then I do what's called a multicam edit. So I select everything. I don't want to select that because this is the multicam clip. And every single video editing software you use, whether you use Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, whatever, should have this feature. If it doesn't, you're using garbage video editing software, and you should get a more professional one. So in Final Cut, You right click, new multicam clip, and if you have good audio in your raw video sources and your mix, because right here is the final mix down of the multi-tracks. Final Cut is really good at this. It's good at finding points, and then all you do is hit OK. You want the video in 4K at 24 frames a second. This is what I recorded at, so I want it as that. So when I hit OK, Final Cut it does its thing, and it makes this. And this is what it looks like. Now, you're going to see there's X number of clips here. They're all like, how come one camera is not on one channel, right? It's because right here, this is clip 1 of Johnny on the keyboards, and then here's clip 2. So this is really annoying, but what I have to do is click and drag so that Johnny Keyboards is now on one channel. And I got to do the same for everything else. Because, as you see here, here's the A7R5. It's one continuous clip because the A7R5 can record as long as the battery doesn't overheat or the battery dies. This can constantly record at 4K 24. It can even record at 4K 60, but I don't record 4K 60 for my concert footage. But the DJI cameras, the way that they format the SD cards and the way that they operate, they record consistently until the video file. Oh my God, you can even see this looks like if you're going soft in the bedroom. Look at the overhead above Russ. Just going. Look at that. That's a result of not having the microphone stand completely secure and not tightening it enough. So over time, it just, look at that. It fell down several times. So this is not perfect. It's not a perfect gig, but, you know, shit happens. Anyway, the DJI cameras, if they record up to 4 gigs per file, and then they just start a new recording. So I don't know how to get around that. There's just no way to do it. So I just deal with it. Right? So I do everything. I put everything onto one channel so that when I delete this, you know, delete angle, because I'm not using that right now. What's this? This is the gimbal. So here we go. Same thing with the DJI. So now I can delete this. Now I have all my cameras and the source on one channel each. So here's my project. I now bring the multicam onto my timeline. And now I can close this window and this window and only have my multicam edit window, which on Final Cut is Command-Shift-7. I select the audio to only be my final mix from Logic. And now I select the video to now be whatever the hell I want. All right, and now we're going to go to the song that we're going to be featuring in this, and it's called The Arrival. So let's zoom in here. So how I edit a band concert footage, it's very simple. I play the song in real time. I do my best to make edits where I see fit. I monitor this whole area right here. And if it looks good, I cut to it. And I do a rough pass through of everything. And then I will go back and make final edits. Once I have my edit done, then I go into color grading. And so I'll just show you right now like what multicam editing looks like in Final Cut. So this is, again, the song's called The Arrival.
Question all that's been said. Open eyes to all read.
right, so I'm obviously not Martin Scorsese right here. This is just to show you what it looks like and what my process is. So let's say this is my Goodfellas. This is my Inglourious Bastards. This is my masterpiece of an edit. I am Quentin Tarantino. So when I'm done with this, I now close that. And now let's go to color grading, which is what everyone loves to watch. So I have my adjustment layer that I bring on top of my masterpiece of an edit. And then I have a plugin called Color Finale. This is a third-party plugin that I bought. So I'll make any exposure corrections I may want. Like this could be a little bit brighter. And then if I want to go and make like specific edits. So here are my shadows, midtones, highlights, offset. I could change the color of all these regions. And then here's my exposure. So let's say if I want to bring the highlights down a little bit. Let's say I want to raise the midtones where the skin usually lies. Or if it's too dark over here, for instance, I want to bring the shadows up a little bit more. You know, let's say this looks amazing, right? Then what I like to do is I like to put a custom LUT on it. So these are presets that I have in Adobe Lightroom. So what I do is I take a screen grab of a hero frame, I call it. Usually it's the main camera. So I would screen grab this. I would bring it into Lightroom right here. I would edit this like I was editing a photo. And then with a third-party plugin, I convert those Lightroom presets to a LUT. And then I would take that LUT and then I would apply that to the frame. For instance, I filmed a black and white music video. And I really loved this concert black and white setting. So the concert black and white will look like shit right there. So let's try it where on this very nicely lit frame right here. Then I have, let's say I want this black and white. I apply my concert black and white LUT. And then this was edited in Adobe Lightroom. So this actually doesn't look that bad. But as you can see, look at what this LUT does to the shadows and the light. This looks like shit. So this, like, look what it does. That looks like garbage. So this is not a good LUT to use in this instance. Let's try this LUT. This one looks a lot better because there's a little bit, because the lights aren't mutated like that. There's a little bit of hint of skin tone. And maybe this looks good for you. Well, this doesn't look good right here. But once I apply a LUT and I mess with the color where it looks good, I'll usually go into the multicam. And let's say this needs to be brought up in exposure. So I'll apply a color finale to that specific clip, which is this shot right here. And then I'll just bring up the exposure a little bit more. All right, so now let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this is my Godfather and Godfather Part 2. I am better than Francis Ford Coppola, right? I am Steven Spielberg of concert editing, and this is my Jaws. This is my Jurassic Park. This is my, Jesus Christ, how many fucking good movies has Steven Spielberg made? You get my point. Once everything's done, I will export the video, title it, and you will get what I'm about to show you. So this concludes my post-production editing gloss over tutorial of how I edit and mix concert footage. So if you want to listen to my whole mixing process, again, because you guys care about audio way more than video, just watch the live stream. It's over 4.5 hours long. It's in the description, and you hear every decision I make, both good and bad, and I narrate and commentate over what I'm doing. So with that being said, here is the actual edited video of the arrival from Surrender to Eden at the Sherman Theater. Enjoy.
Mr. John Roberts on the piano. Stars at the vision, galaxies collide in their wisdom. Who will feed the soil with their life? The never-ending story is life. I had a vision. All was lost in their wisdom. Thank you so much.